Okay, people, this one is called That's All It Takes. I don't know. I swear, no matter what I try to do, how I try to do it, it just doesn't seem to work. I can do a little bit of canning because it's summertime, right? Be quiet, Andre! Andre! Right? Trying to prepare for winter, in case of an emergency, no money, can't buy groceries, that kind of stuff, because that happens. And, I'm juggling the bills, don't know if the internet's going to cut off. The phone wasn't working this morning. Tisha said, well, what's going on? And I'm like, well, I did put $100 on the bill on the 20th. It should be okay, but I don't know. And then it went back on, so who freaking knows? Just finished paying off hydro. Still owe money on gas because I'm buying fruit, right? And making jam. And I bought some cauliflower. And, I bought my dollar a bag ginger. And I bought my dollar a bag freaking cucumbers. And my $2 bag sugar. It's not like I'm spending extravagantly here, people, right? Okay, so anyway, the way I've been paying rent after, see, when they took John, right? I'm in John's chair here. The fridge isn't here because this breaker box blew out. Something wrong with the breaker box, okay? My fridge wasn't working for 2 days, and because there was no light bulb in there, I didn't know that until I opened up the freezer and half of everything in there was unthawed. That's when and the kids were crying on about the washing machine wasn't working downstairs, so that's how I flipped the breaker box and kept kicking out and nothing was working. So I moved the fridge over here right by my freaking sliding door with all the mud going back. It was bad enough that it was sitting right here. Now it's right there. It's been sitting there for like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, right? Because my landlady said, well, go find an electrician, 3 estimates, and, to see maybe to replace the breaker box, right? Because it kept flipping back, it wouldn't stay. That's why I had to move the fridge. And, kids are up here, using my little washing machine that's like 12 years old, right? That kind of thing. So it's been really congested in here. And then the dryer stopped working, so the 220 volt blew out too. So not only that one breaker line blew out, but it looks like a 220 volt line blew out as well, right? Because the dryer downstairs is not even working. And so anyway, I phoned up several, right? 2 guys said they were going to come and give an estimate to replace the breaker box, right? Andre, shut up, right? One guy, are your landlords Punjabi or they, Hindu or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, they're South Asian. And he goes, oh, I ain't coming, they're cheap, and he hung up on me. Okay. So 2 guys, one was speak good English, the other one not. Both said they were going to come, they never did. My landlady owes me money for this roof. It was $325. I paid the guy, Bill $100 to work the roof, right? I had to buy the materials when I got my family allowance because they were in India, right? So they weren't here to do it. Andre, be quiet! Right? So I forked out $325 from my federal family allowance to fix this leaky roof that still needs some repairs because Bill didn't do it right completely because he didn't have all the materials. It's all Mickey Mouse together. $325, and so I give them a receipt last month, and because they deducted the rent for $350 for 3 months when they took John, so February, so March, April, May. For 3 months, I was paying $1,300 instead of $1,650. Because first when I moved in, rent was supposed to be $1,550. Stay as long as you want, and we'll never raise the rent. Okay. We put new tiles in, new vinyl, and new furnace, and new windows. Look how nice it is in here. But they didn't tell me before I moved in what the yard was like. They didn't tell me that they had plumbing problems that was backing up every 9 months where you couldn't do your dishes, you couldn't do your laundry. And that's upstairs and downstairs, people. That wasn't just one floor because it all go into one fucking line, right? Meantime, I'm working out in the yard like 4 fucking years like a dog out there trying to cover up this sand pit and pulling out bags full and bags full and bags full and bags full and 50 fucking bags later, and then come back another month later and it's another 25 big huge ass bags full of morning glory just to get a handle on this yard year after year after year as things are breaking, like, you know, like the roof and like the bathroom. How long did it take for the bathroom to be done downstairs? And even then that's not done. Apparently the bathtub is backed up. The kids can't even take a shower downstairs. They're all coming upstairs and taking a shower now because there's something in the drain that when the plumber was out there doing whatever the plumber did with the front yard, and when he ripped up the fucking front yard after I had it all nicely covered up, all that sand all covered up so it wasn't blowing and coming in my house and cats were doing whatever and it's just whatever, right? They did something. So I can't ask my landlord to fix the bathroom tub drain because you know what I get, people? This is what I get. You don't like it, you can move. I'm still getting that, even after 5 fucking years. Oh, well, we're old. We don't want to deal with it. We've got somebody that wants to give us $700,000 for this house and boot your ass out in the fucking streets. But, you know, we made you a promise, so we're going to try and follow through on it. But don't ask for anything. Don't ask to fix for anything. And if you're going to fix the porch roof, you pay for it. And I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to pay for it? I couldn't pay for it when John lived here, never mind here by myself. And then my roommate, tenant, whatever you want to call him, didn't pay his rent this month because he's having car problems. So when my landlord called on the 31st or the 30th or whatever the hell it was of June for the rent, I'm like, well, gee, I don't have his rent yet. I'm waiting for him to pay me. Can you call me tomorrow? Okay? Oh, well, you know. And I'm like, I know. When John was here, I cut him a fucking check. It was never a problem. Right? I paid the bills. I wouldn't have money for groceries. If I bought groceries, I had to budget. I had to fucking juggle the bills. I never had enough money, even when John was here. And it's even worse now. And I don't have a normal life. This is not fucking normal. You go outside, you work yourself like a fucking dog to be said, oh, if you don't like it, you can move. Oh yeah, well you got the greenhouse now, you got the fucking hen house, you got things that are covered up the fucking ground so you're not just walking on gritty sand and mud. You know, you're walking on a platform, like the cement blocks and stuff like that. Leave me alone, please.
Can I get the keys?
Okay, so anyway, you know, I put up with the broken pipe there for 4 years until they finally fixed it. You know, it didn't matter. It was like when we first moved in, within the first week and a half, 15 days without using your fucking sink, couldn't do laundry. It was like that every 9 months, like clockwork. And one time and what is another 9 days. And then it got better. Don't get me wrong, it got better. You know, they'd send the plumber right away to snake it out. But then they got some plumber that ended up breaking the freaking main line and destroyed 4 years of hard work. That's basically made me sick. As I'm still working out there, people. I'm still working out there because the city brought in a new city hall. So they're trying to raise property taxes. So they got to put an image out to the world, you know, to the United States of America, of what a great place Surrey is to live, right? And because Surrey, you know, they got this new city hall just up over here, not too far away. They're pushing out all the homeless people, making it so they can't get showers, you know, and all this other crap, right? Well, they're going from, you know, property to property to property, harassing all the owners to, you know, get rid of this and do this and mow the grass and, you know, make it all fucking look nice so that, you know, that these overseas buyers that are buying up all the property for $700,000 with their fucking shanty shacks on them can say, oh yeah, this is a great place to live. Well, where am I going to go? So anyway, my tenant didn't give me his rent. So I phoned the landlord and I'm like, well, all I I have is $700 on me right now, because what happened was, after June, they wanted $1,600. Okay, so fine. I said, well, I can give you $1,000 at the first, and then from the 11th, 12th, when I get the money for Andre, right, I'll give you the other $6 from that, if that's okay, because I have a $400 Visa bill that I have to pay, which they take $270 worth of interest off of. That's just the Visa bill. That's not the gas bill. That's not the hydro bill. That's not the freaking cable bill. That's not my Royal, where my bank statement or Visa statement is still being sent to Victoria, because John's sister hijacked his mail. So just because his name is on the letterhead, right, in terms of putting it in the mail, it's all going to Victoria. So to me, that's like theft. That's like stealing other people's mail, as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, I'm a poor person. I have no rights, people. I have absolutely no rights. So I phoned him up and I said, well, you know, he said maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Like, I don't know what to do. It's not like I wanted a stranger to move into my house in the first place, people. Like, why should John didn't die, people. Why should my family have to even go through this crap, people? I'd like to freaking know, people. Right? So now I'm being held hostage, emotionally hostage, by a tenant that basically is a stranger, right? That has car problems and can't pay his rent. Well, my landlord is saying, well, I can't deal with it anymore. It's already July, and I've been putting up with it since March, right? I already cut you some slack for the 3 months and took off $350. I said, yeah, but what doesn't, you know, you did that, but when you look at all the yard work that I've done since I've been here, you know, I think that's, you know, pretty reasonable. You know, at least I got something back out of it for all my discomfort of living in this house with broken this and broken that and waiting until the last fucking minute to fix things, to hear the landlord say, well, I can't deal with it anymore because it's costing me too much money. It's easier for me just to sell the house and get rid of it and get rid of you. And if you want to live here, don't complain. Don't complain that the washing machine doesn't work. Don't complain that the fucking dryer doesn't work. Don't complain that your fridge blinked out because of this and that. Don't complain that you have to pay for the fucking porch yourself. Don't complain about anything. Because if you don't like it, you can move. So we're right back to that. If you don't like it, you can move crap. And I'm like, yeah, I know, no problem. Because, you know, 3/4 of the yard is fucking done now. You got a nice little shed out in the back and the front that you never had before. That my son and me went across the street and dragged it over ourselves because the guy said we could have it, so we dismantled it, dragged it over here, and we put it back together. So there's something there, it just needs to be fixed. Has a nice little fucking rabbit hutch. It's got garden over there, garden in the back, several places to put garden in the back. It's got a nice little pen there for a dog or a chicken or a fucking cat. Doesn't matter. You could put pigeons in there. It's got another one coming.
Yeah.
Got a rabbit hutch. Got blueberry bushes and raspberry bushes growing in the yard. And guess what? More than 3/4 of the morning glory is gone. More than 3/4 of the morning glory is gone. And I can guarantee you, since I've been in this house, I've probably pulled out 500 up to 1,000 bags of those big recycling, you know, garden bags, the big paper ones, full of morning glory roots and morning glory vine.
There you go.
And if I don't like it, I can move. So my landlord wants me to pay half for this roof now. And I'm like, well, jeez.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not supposed to have blueberry jam or sugar on sale or any of that stuff. Right? Because I have to worry about protecting what's going to happen when it starts to rain. And I have to pay for that. Because my landlords can't, they're too old. And their kids don't, apparently don't want to help them. Apparently. For some reason I find that one hard to believe though. Stop it. I do. I find that one hard to believe. Because first of all, when I moved into this house, this landlord was saying the same damn shit that the last fucking landlord was saying. The one that was running a grow-up and was tapping into my hydro in their little Mickey Mouse fourplex. Okay?
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you can move. Where does that come from? If you don't like it, you can move. I'd like to know where do they preach this in their temples? Or is this a family thing? Because, you know, I go from one bad situation with a bad landlord that was ripping off my hydro, right? Making it so that we couldn't use certain things in the house because I'm talking. Making it so that we couldn't use certain parts of the house because they were tapping into our freaking hydro lines to run their little grow up in their freaking skanky, smelly, moldy freaking shed that, you know, they were covering it up with another moldy something smelly in their laundry room to hide the smell of the grow up. I didn't know. All I know is how they Mickey Moused everything together. I almost got electrocuted. And because they weren't doing anything about it, I paid $65 for the city to come in and figure out why I almost got electrocuted. And that's when the shit hit the fan and, you know, the city noticed what was kind of going on. And next thing you know it, you know, in the middle of the night, they're clearing out their fucking grow-up, all pissed off at me, accusing me that it's my fault, that they almost got caught with their grow-up. They ended up having to do all their electrical repairs to city code, and they kicked me out. And I'm wandering around looking house after house, shanty house after shanty house after shanty house, you know, worn out, all broken down and smelly and, you know, and overpriced. And, you know, I come along this place and, you know, and you know, and yeah, here I am with the same, well, if you don't like it, you can move. And I'm like, well, gee, if you sell your house, just give me a 3-month notice. You know, I mean, what the fuck am I going to do? What the fuck am I going to do, people? Like, really, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, I can't stand this stress. This is bullshit. You know, like, total fucking bullshit. Oh, well, you know, we're keeping the house for you and your family. So I'm obligated to shut up and not say anything about shit. I'm talking when things break. I'm supposed to just live in third world fucking conditions so that, you know, my landlady can mosey on in her kitchen, which is as big as my whole floors. My whole, from that end of the house to that end of the house, from there to there, is her kitchen. That's just her kitchen.
It's your kitchen now.
Which is fine. If I could have a decent porch without having to be stressed out about it or worry about, well, gee, wash machine doesn't work, the dryer doesn't work, well, I can't ask her to unplug the drain because I know what she'll tell me. If you don't like it, you can move. You know, it's always one thing. It's an old house. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I can make $700,000 off of it just by kicking you out and selling it to somebody else. So if you don't like it, you can move. So why am I here? Why am I here even on this freaking planet, people? What's the point? What is the point of being on this freaking planet? Yesterday, I almost got pushed down some freaking flight of stairs. We're talking like 15, 20 stairs. I was at the top because this guy over here that had my computers, I gave him money, I gave him my computers, I gave him my CDs. Stop it. I gave him my CDs. He kept running me game back and forth, you know, brought me some 32-bit computer. I'm like, that's not enough hard drive space. I need more. Shut up. I'm talking. No, I'm talking. Right? Oh, I need the CD, you know, blah, blah. Okay, so I give him the CD. Long story short, he gets an eviction notice. I didn't know anything about that. I go back to try and get my computers because by this time I'm like fucking fed up, right? I just look, and some guy rolls up and I'm like, well, gee, you know, there's an organ there, you know, this guy said he didn't want, and you know, get out of here. And so I went back yesterday because I was walking to the store, because the organ is out on the road. I'm like, well, do you want the organ? And he goes, yeah, and next thing you know it, because I had went up on the top, I'm talking, because I had went up on the top floor and knocked on the door to try and talk to this person. I was actually hoping to speak to the landlady. I didn't realize he actually lived there. So anyway, he almost pushed me down the stairs and killed me yesterday with my grandson standing at the bottom of the freaking stairs, watching this, because he's bipolar or something.
Because I saw my scooter.
And yeah, and wouldn't give back my grandson's scooter. Well, my landlady is saying if you don't like it, you can move. But still expects me to go out there and work the yard until I move. Until I move. And then wants to sit up there and blame me for having the wood and all this other stuff in here. Even though when I first moved in, it was nothing but a sand pit. That's it. It was just sand pit, mud, and fucking raccoon shit. And weeds. That's it. Out of control weeds. I don't get a thank you. You know, I mean, John's been gone, what, 4 months? Right? March, April, so February, they took him February, so February, March, April, May, June, okay, 4 months he's been gone. Yes, they cut me slack on rent, you know, $1,300, they took off $350 each month, but when you look back 4 years and everything that I've done in terms of yard, right, I've come a long way, so it kind of compensates, right? So why hold it against me? Why hold that 3 months against me? You know, because my tenant all of a sudden didn't pay his rent. A stranger,
Like my food.
right, that, you know, has his own problems. Stop it, right? And now I'm sitting, they're crying yesterday, money, so because I paid my visa, because I paid my visa, because if I don't pay my visa, you know, they'll lock my account, and they'll just take what they want, because I was having that problem when John was here, when we were juggling bills before. They won't drop my interest, and right now I'm doing $270 a month. You know, thank you very much, MCFD, for all the drama with Andre and all this other crap, and thank you very much, Duncan Clan, because it's the same fucking situation. You know, it's just different pile, right? And you know, so I have to pay the visa before the visa date, because if I don't, then, you know, money will be deposited into my account, and for sure my landlord won't get any rent. So I paid the visa, and because the tenant didn't give me the money, I went and I took my interest payment and I put it into my account to be able to top it off to that $1,000 mark, because she doesn't mind if I give her $1,000 and then the other $600, right? But I didn't expect my tenant not to pay his rent. You know, he walked out the door today, didn't say nothing to me, so maybe today, maybe tomorrow, could be next week. I don't know. I don't know, but thank you very much, Duncan Clan, because as far as we're concerned, it's almost like John's died. You know, they've murdered John. John is a missing, murdered woman, and nobody gives a crap about that. No, the police don't care, you know, anybody. None of these people that facilitate this kind of stuff, you know, they just don't give a shit. They don't give a shit who they hurt, how they hurt them, as long as the end game is making a profit wherever they can make that profit. Worse than my landlord. Worse than my landlord, okay? Because I said to the landlord, quiet. I said to the landlord on the phone yesterday, I said, okay, so you get your $700,000, you sell this house, you get your $700,000, but I don't get my $325 back for this Porsche because you're telling me you don't want to pay for it? That if I don't like it, I can move? He goes, I said, yeah, exactly. 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 Oh, well, you pay half, I pay half. I'm like, okay, well, no, give me, you know, $200. At least that out of the $325. I shouldn't have to pay nothing. That thing should be fixed properly. It's not even fixed properly, people. And now she's going to hold a freaking breaker box hostage. Oh, I had to fix the breaker box. I had to do the roof. Yeah, well, you knew you had to do the roof. Andre!
What?
You knew you had to do the roof because the roof has to be done every 10 years anyway. So you already had that calculated out in your head. That's why you left it to the last freaking minute. You knew you had piping problems before I moved in. But you covered it up with vinyl floors and, not vinyl, but this wood crap and this cremate shit that you have to go on your hands and knees and wash by hand. And you put in some windows to cover up the fact that you had plumbing problems. The pipes have never been cleaned in this house. Wait till the wintertime comes and I ask her to help me clean the pipes. I don't want to. I spend too much money. It's costing. Yes, I know. Did I ask the plumber to break the main line out in the front? No, I did not. If I would have known that this problem was here before I moved in, I wouldn't have moved in because I was trying to avoid those kind of houses. But that's all you're going to find. Unless, of course, you can afford $2,500 or $3,000 a month in rent. And then she says, well, I can get $1,800 for this place. more pressure. Right? Well, we can thank the city for that one. If she can get $1,800 for this 2-floor rancher
Hey, Echo.
that has all these problems because the house is old.
No.
So what do I do? What do I do, people? I'm supposed to be canning cauliflower. I'm supposed to be quiet. I'm supposed to be canning cauliflower. I'm supposed to be positive for my family. Right? Really, what do I do? Wait for the next guy to push me down some stairs?
Guy now?
Huh?
What kind
Because
of guy?
that's the kind of society that we're starting to live in. If it's not the landlord pushing you down the fucking stairs, it's the fucking guy across the street having a hissy fit because there's something wrong with him, right? Because I happen to know the guy downstairs. Even though the guy downstairs ripped me off, it didn't matter to that guy. Just the fact that I knew him gave him the right to try and push me down some stairs after he told me I could have a freaking organ. And then when I tried to tell him that the organ, the pedals, are in the back, not in the front, because I went around to go knock, right? Get out here! I'm calling for cops on you! Get down! If you don't leave, I'm pushing you downstairs! I'm pushing you downstairs! People, I just stood there at the top of the stairs. I grabbed onto the rail, and I braced myself. I braced myself for that fall. He was that far away from me, kind of like John's sister, right up in his face, saying, John, where's my eyeball? John, you're not allowed to talk to those kids. They're not your grandchildren. You can't talk to them until you're better. And I'm going to make sure you never get better, John. Ever.